Welcome to the third video lecture on Module 3 of Basic Electrical. So in this we will be seeing some terms associated with power such as active power, reactive power, apparent power and power factor. First of all, let's see the instantaneous power in an AC circuit. Assume that the voltage and current in a single phase AC circuit is given as V of t is equal to Vn sin omega t and I of t equal to In sin omega t minus phi. So let's first of all draw the phasor diagram. Since the voltage phasor is Vm sin omega t, I am taking it as your reference phasor and it's drawn horizontal. This is your voltage phasor. Then current phasor, that is lagging the voltage phasor by an angle phi. So by an angle, lagging means you have to draw the phasor downwards. So by an angle phi, this is my current phasor. Here we can see that this current phasor can be split into two. One component is I cos phi, which is in phase with your voltage, and second component is I sin phi, which is 90° out of phase with your voltage. Then instantaneous power, that is equal to V into I. So in this we are multiplying the voltage vector V with I. We will be getting it as one component is Vi cos phi and the another component is Vi sin phi. Then the total voltage will be vector sum of Vi cos phi plus Vi sin phi, that is root of V square I square into cos square phi plus sin square phi. Cos square phi plus sin square phi is 1, that is equal to root of V square I square or Vi. So here we can say that the total power Vi is having two components. One is Vi cos phi and another one is Vi sin phi. The component Vi cos phi, which is in phase with your voltage vector, that is known as your real power, and the component Vi sin phi, that is known as your reactive power, and the total power Vi, that is the apparent power. So in the next slide we can see the physical significance of what is actually this real power, reactive power and apparent power is. The concept of active, reactive and apparent power are only for AC circuit and it is not at all applicable for DC circuit because the sine voltage or the sinusoidal voltage waveform is appearing in the case of an AC circuit, and it is the sinusoidal nature of this voltage that is giving rise to the active, reactive and apparent power. So first let's see what is an active power. So active power, it is the power dissipated, or in other words it is the power consumed in an electrical circuit, or we can say that it is the power available for the useful work. In the earlier video lectures we had seen the power consumed in different circuit elements, right? If you are taking any circuit element, there are mainly three components. Either there will be a resistor, there can be an inductor or a capacitor. So we saw that the power consumed out of all these three elements, the power is consumed only in a resistor, right? And we're taking the average power for a complete cycle, only the power consuming element is your resistor, and that power, that is known as your active power, or power consumed or power that is available for useful work. Only this power that can be converted into other energy forms, for example like lighting or like mechanical output. Okay, So the unit of this active power is kilowatts or watts. And the equation of active power that's given as P equal to Vrms Irms cos phi. That is the active power equation. Then second one is your reactive power. Reactive power, it is actually the power associated with the reactive components such as inductor and capacitance of this circuit. This power is not actually dissipated in the circuit, but it's stored and released during each cycle. For example, in the earlier video lectures, when we found the power consumed in the inductor and capacitor, we saw that the average power consumed in an entire cycle is found to be 0. Why? Because during the positive half cycle, these components will absorb the energy from the circuit or from the supply, and during the negative half cycle, they will be giving back the energy consumed in the positive half cycle. So actually this energy or this power is circulating in these elements, and this power is not available for any useful work because they keep on charging and discharging at the positive and negative half cycle. And that power which is not available for useful work, that is known as your reactive power, and its unit is kVAR or kilovolt ampere reactive. And the reactive power can be calculated as Q is equal to Vrms into Irms sin phi, where phi is your power factor angle or phase angle. That's angle between your voltage and current. And the third component, that is your apparent power. That is the total power consumed in an AC circuit, which is the vector sum of active power and reactive power. And its unit is kilovolt ampere. So your apparent power S, that is given as S is equal to Vrms into Irms. That is S is equal to root of P square plus Q square. Okay. So this is the power triangle that is explaining the relationship between the all three powers. That's your active power, reactive power and apparent power. So active power, that is a Vi cos phi, and reactive power, that is your Vi sin phi, and the apparent power, that is your Vi. Then the angle between the active power and the apparent power is your phase angle phi. The concept of active, reactive and apparent power can be understood more easily with the help of by comparing it with a practical situation. Suppose that you are sent to buy grocery with a total of ₹100, and I bought grocery for a total of ₹70, and the remaining 30 rupees I am using it for transportation. So total cost adds up to ₹100. So here we can say that out of the 100 rupees that is given for buying the grocery, only 70 rupees is utilized for buying grocery. And this is similar to your active power, the power that is available for useful work, or in this case it is buying grocery. So this is your active power. And the rest of the power that is used for transportation and that is not available for your useful work. So this is your reactive power. Okay. And the active power and reactive power will add up to get your total power. In the case of an electrical network, the reactive power is not something that we could avoid. Because if you are taking any machines, there will be some inductance and capacitance effect. So there will be some reactive power. What we can do is we can reduce the reactive power so that the total power can be reduced. Okay, so in the above example of the grocery itself, if I am buying grocery for 70 rupees and if I am only using 20 rupees for transportation, then we can say that the total power that can be reduced. So in the entire electrical circuit, if you're taking, our main aim is to reduce our reactive power so that the total power consumption of the apparent power is kept lower. Another important term in an AC circuit is power factor. So power factor of an electrical circuit, that is defined as the ratio of real power absorbed by the load to the apparent power flowing in the circuit. That is, power factor is equal to real power by apparent power. The real power or the power consumed is given as Vrms Irms cos phi, and the apparent power, that is Vrms into Irms. So the power factor is cos phi, where phi is the angle between your voltage and current. So power factor actually gives an idea about the fraction of apparent power that is used for the useful work. Okay, so let us assume that the power factor is 0.8. Your PF value, power factor value, is equal to 0.8. That means 80% of your total power, or 0.8 times of your total power, that is used for useful work, and the rest or remaining 20% or 0.2 times the total power, apparent power, that is your reactive power. Okay, so greater the value of power factor, more efficiently the power can be transferred. Next, let's see some of the significance of power factor. So power factor is actually a measure of how effectively we are utilizing the electricity. So higher the power factor, then better, more effectively we can deliver power to the load. So for example, if the power factor is high, if the power factor is 0.9 or something, that means that the reactive power or the power lost or power circulated in the circuit, that is only 10%. Rest 90% of the apparent power that is available for useful work. That means efficiency is higher. Then another significance is that it helps in reducing the losses in electrical systems. Because whatever load we are taking, if you are taking in the case of a household, we are taking that if our total consumption in a house is 746 watts, that means total power required remains a constant. Okay, the power consumed, that is actually Vi cos phi. That means this Vi cos phi that is required as a constant value, but what happens? The cos phi value or the power factor reduces. That means in order to meet the same demand, we have to give more current. I value must be increased proportionally. Because total demand is Vi cos phi, the cos phi is getting reduced. That means we need to increase the current value I. So what will happen when current is increased? The losses in the circuit, losses is I square R losses, all these losses in the circuit or losses in the electrical system get increased. So if the power factor is high, that means losses is less. Then another is lesser utility bills. So always in the billing purpose, when we are if you are checking going through the electricity bill, it is shown that if we are having a lower power factor, we have to pay penalty amount. So if the power factor is better, your utility bills can be, amount of utility bills will be lesser. So that's all about active, reactive and apparent power as well as the power factor. So always keep in mind this active, reactive, apparent power, all these power will come in the case of only an AC circuit. In the case of DC circuit, there is no concept like active power or reactive power, because entire power supplied is used for consumption. There is no reactive elements doesn't come into play in the case of a DC network. That will an effect of L and C only comes in the case of an AC network. So that's the end of this video lecture. Thank you.